Says we're live.
Oh, we're live right now? All right.
That's what it's saying. Yeah, let me just make sure. I never used this software before in my life, so
Bet. Let's get it. Get my microphone up close. Oh boy. Here we go.
here we go. Is it? I don't know if I'm getting this thing on YouTube though.
Yeah, it's up. I see myself.
You see it on YouTube?
Yeah. Yeah. We're live. We're live, pal.
We're live. All right, pal. Yeah, we're live. What's going on? Royal Rumble 2021 just finished up. Let's get into the review. I got Bonafide Heat with me. He's a little bit on the tipsy side, maybe even further than tipsy, I would say, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's safe. That's safe to say.
Safe to say.
Yeah, I'm actually about to pour one up right now. So here we go.
Here it is.
Pour one up. I won't show the logo though.
Pour one up for the winners of the Royal Rumble matches tonight.
Yeah, I'm actually quite happy. The Royal Rumble went the way that I guess like for what we got, I think it went pretty well. I'm not gonna say like what it could have been, what the men's Rumble could have been. It could have been a lot better, but it also could have been a lot worse. I mean, we could have got Randy Orton winning his third Royal Rumble.
Yeah,
we could have got that. So overall, what do you think about like what do you want to? Well, you're the host here, so you start.
Well, I mean, like to be honest with you, I thought it was an enjoyable show, right? Like I tend to always like Rumbles for the most part, but I do like I think I like the women's one just a little tiny bit more than I did the men's one. I think they just put some more like stories in it, intertwined a couple stories in there, especially stuff from NXT and the main roster. It's just I was super pissed off about Alexa Bliss. That thing we'll get into when we get it over that one, but with it being the way it was, I thought it was an overall good show. And no Keith Lee, I guess the right guy won.
Yeah, I mean he had COVID, or I shouldn't say, but he had the illness that's going around.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. YouTube might flag your channel because I said that.
That's this. They probably put the disclaimer on the bottom of it just because of that. Let's see. We got people in the chat. Big Johnny, what's up, bro? How you doing, man? Did you enjoy the show? Always talk wrestling. I think Roman versus KO was the best match.
What's up? Always talk wrestling. What's going on?
They kicked each other's ass in that match. Debbie the Ghost says, "Thank God Edge won. I can't wait till the Smarks cry."
Jesus,
Debbie cracks me up, bro. He says some real funny ass shit.
But like Edge, I thought Edge was like one of the Smarks' favorites, though, right?
Yeah,
is it Edge like because he has good work rate or whatever you want to call it,
Yeah, and then he does cut good promos and stuff like that. Always Talk Wrestling says I really wanted KO to win. Yeah, I thought KO was gonna win when he did the handcuff spot. I thought that was it, but then there was a little bit of a botch afterwards where Paul Heyman couldn't like unhook the handcuff. Got kind of weird with the camera work there. But I thought the match was a good match. But I guess to start from the beginning, from the pre-show, which is why they put the women's tag team on the pre-show. I thought they were gonna push the title a little bit more, but they put it on the pre-show.
So we gotta talk about the pre-show. Nobody watches the pre-show. The only highlight of the pre-show is my boy JBL made an appearance. So I love it, Maggle. JBL was there. Like, that's all I got, bro. That's all I got. I could care less about the Women's Tag Team Championship. Like, let's keep it real. Nobody cares about the Women's Tag Team Championship, bro.
It should be pushed like the way more than it is. I don't know. It's just like, what the hell is the point of having this shit if you're not going to push it, right? Like I feel like they pushed the 24/7 championship more than they pushed that shit. With the amount of people that won that. I mean, you had Peter Rosenberg coming out on top of that one and win 24/7 championship. I thought JBL's reaction to that shit was hilarious.
Oh man, like the fact that the Women's Tag Team Championship that was created so Charlotte Flair could get another accolade.
Exactly.
That's it, bro.
Yeah.
That's all there is to it.
Cena Nation Dog, Bonafide Heat face reveal. This is the first right here, right? This is the first.
No. If you look on my channel, I have plenty of videos of my face on it. This is not anything new for me.
It's not the first one, so make sure you go back on his channel and look at it beforehand, and contrast, see if it looks any different now. But I'll put the picture up on the screen right now. Those are your new, you already know, those are your new women's tag team champions. Lacey Evans coming out with Ric Flair and loaded hand. I thought she put brass knucks, but it seemed to have something inside of her fist, and then she went with the punch. I thought it looked kind of shitty. I thought it looked kind of terrible. But in the end, they just swapped the titles back to the people who had them originally. So makes no sense to me whatsoever why they even decided to do that.
Yeah, I gotta be honest with you, bro. I could care less. I gotta keep it 100 with you. I could not care.
I appreciate it.
I could not care any less than I do right now about the pre-show. Can we move on?
Let's move on. All right, we'll move on. We'll
Yes.
move on to the biggest match of the show. Some would say because those people, the one people were most worried about, and that was Drew McIntyre versus WWE champion going against Goldberg, the challenger. And in a match, everybody on the internet was sweating bullets because they thought Goldberg was actually going to take this title like he did last year. Off the
I was pulling for my boy Goldberg, bro.
Oh shit! There it is.
I was pulling for Goldberg. Come on.
I don't know how you could be honest.
If Goldberg had won the title, our reviews would do 10 times the views that they're going to do right now.
That is true. You ain't lying.
I'm pulling for Goldberg. My pockets are pulling for Goldberg.
Well, Goldberg's good for business, right? I guess.
Yes. Goldberg is great for business. I don't care. He beat The Fiend. Who cares? The Fiend is the most over guy, and he's not even on the show. He hasn't been on the show in 2 months, and he's still the most over guy on Raw every single week. His music plays, or they shut the lights out, and The Fiend is the most over guy. So Goldberg would not have buried Drew McIntyre. He would have been fine. Drew McIntyre would still be a main event player. He'd still be a top guy.
Yeah.
Like, it is what it is. I don't understand the hatred for Goldberg. Like, it's really like, it's borderline. Like, I don't want to say, what's the word? Like, it's not sickening, but it's like, why are people so angry about a professional wrestler? It's not like, there's so much more things going on in real life.
To be upset about and shit. Yeah.
There's so much more going on, and people are like, "Oh, if Goldberg wins, I'm gonna cancel the WWE Network." Okay, like Vince doesn't care. Vince just got $1 billion from Peacock. You think he cares if you cancel the WWE Network? Go ahead.
Yeah.
But I am glad that Drew McIntyre won, though.
No, it was probably the right call there, but because like for WrestleMania, I guess it just makes more sense. But yeah, he's rolling in the money right now, especially after he furloughed all those people during the beginning of the pandemic. Now he's got another $1 billion in the bank coming in. He already had $1 billion deal from Fox. Now he's got another $1 billion deal in the bank. The guy's making money left and right. He does not give a shit what anybody thinks, nor should he, to be honest with you. Let's get into the comments though. Cena Dog says, sorry, I didn't know. Bonafide Heat showed his face on channel. No worries, brother. Always Talks Wrestling says WWE should have let Carmella win, and we would have gotten Carmella versus Bianca. I mean, I guess, yeah, you could have went with that way as well. If Goldberg would have won the title, I would have switched off my TV. There's one of those reactions. Always Talks Wrestling, Sasha Banks versus Bianca for the SmackDown Championship is better than Carmella versus Bianca for the Smack. I mean, I'd rather see Bianca versus Sasha than Bianca versus Carmella, but I think Carmella continues to kind of like improve here and there. But back to the championship match, I got scared. I mean, like I was nervous at that point where, it looked like Goldberg was going to take the title, and he hit one shitty ass jackhammer on Drew McIntyre.
His jackhammers are so bad, dude.
You're comparing him to like 98 jackhammers, like back in 98, they were like, spot on, and he was picking guys up and just dropping the shit out of them. The timing was better, but he's been off, especially that one he had, remember the infamous one against Undertaker where he almost broke his neck. There's that one, but you already know they showed a sign of respect at the end. Drew McIntyre is still WWE champion, and he got a sign of respect from, Goldberg in the end. So it was just kind of like just a mean ass rub, I guess, to make sure that, like, this guy's he's the new monster baby face, even though we already knew that. So I don't really understand the whole point of it. Like,
it made Goldberg, they had to get something out of his name power, right? Because like every time Goldberg is on TV, people care, for whatever reason, people just are so invested in Goldberg, like we said earlier. So they had to get something out of him. Whether that something was good, bad, whatever. And him hugging McIntyre and them crying, like, it was kind of corny. Yeah, it came off kind of lame. I'm not gonna lie, but it did the job. And Drew McIntyre, it's a win. It's a big win for his legacy. Like Corey Graves or whoever it was, Tom Phillips drilled down our freaking throat the whole match. Oh, this is a legacy match. All right, we get it, pal. We get it, bro. All right. So I don't know, but yeah, it was a big win. It was a big win for Drew McIntyre, all in all.
It was, and I think they booked the match like smartly the way they worked it. You know what I'm saying? Because like they had the stuff before, he got speared through the barricade. Drew McIntyre did, so it kind of got put it sowed that doubt in your mind, thinking that Drew McIntyre was actually going to lose the match. So I guess it was a smart thing to do with the way they booked it. But yeah, that's all it was. They kind of tried to play off like Warrior Hogan, kind of. That's what it felt like with the end, how they were shaking hands. Yes. They lifted up, he gave him lifting up the hand and stuff like that. That's the way they made it feel at the end. Like, but I don't think anybody really actually felt that shit, to be honest with you. I think it was kind of like, what the fuck's the point of this?
Yeah,
the same effect.
No, it didn't. It was just like with Gold, like we keep saying with Goldberg, people just hate him. Nobody wants him there. Mm-hmm. So they try, but I guess for casuals, for casuals that are watching, I guess it's a big moment seeing this guy that maybe they never heard of in Drew McIntyre. Maybe somebody's watching WWE for the first time in 5 years. They don't know who Drew McIntyre is, but they know Goldberg, and they're like, oh, this guy just beat Goldberg. But the match itself, I thought actually was pretty good.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good book match, the way they worked it, yeah.
Yeah, it was better than expected, but, I don't know. Let's talk about, what was next? Carmella? Right, Carmella and Sasha Banks.
Let's get to some comments before we do. We got Cena Nation Dog saying, "Why do people give Goldberg so much hate if Brock Lesnar has more world titles than him? Also, Brock Lesnar beat Braun Strowman and Samoa Joe when they were over." Yes, I think. To be honest with you, I think it's just Brock just put more time in. I think Goldberg, he just hasn't put enough time in. He had the 98 run. He was there in 99, 2000 in WCW, and it was like terrible at that point. And then he showed up for his 1 year in WWE, kind of left, and then that was pretty much it. He left a sour taste in everybody's mouth. That's why I think everybody hates him. Plus, he's not gifted in the ring. Kobe talks. What's up, Anthony? Oh, what's up, Kobe? How you doing, bro? And let's get to the next matchup.
What's up, Kobe? How you doing, man?
We got Sasha versus Carmella. You obviously know Reginald on the outside of this match. Carmella looked amazing as per usual. I really enjoy her whole new look and everything like that. And Corey Graves is like, I find it funny when Corey Graves, like, everybody knows they're dating, and he kind of, the way he plays it on Mike, I think is funny, and all that. But I thought the match was
it's so solid. Cringe, in my opinion. It's so cringe. Like, this dude is out there simping over Carmella, like, bro,
dude, that's your girl already. You don't need to simp over her like that.
Yeah, it's tough to watch. It's tough to watch. I don't like the whole thing with Reginald. Like, people think Reginald is like, he's the internet darling. He's like the next megastar. Everybody's like, oh, Reginald he's gonna put on 5-star matches, make Reginald world champion, bro. Give me a break, bro.
Literally, I don't think he hasn't done an actual maneuver. He's just done a lot of like flips and dives and stuff like that. I don't really think he's actually done like an actual maneuver. But I don't know. I mean, he's athletic as hell. I'll tell him that. I give him that. But the whole thing, I don't know how long it's gonna last. Reginald hanging out with Carmella and giving her champagne all the time and wine. I don't really know how that shit's gonna last. But in the end, Carmella gets the loss here, and I think I don't really think she has a path anymore winning WrestleMania after this.
No, this is filler. I mean, it's gonna be Bianca Belair versus Sasha Banks. This is filler. Carmella, I didn't want it the first time when they did Carmella and Sasha. I definitely didn't want it the second time. So it was what it was. This match, it was a filler. It was there. It's gonna be Bianca Belair versus Sasha at WrestleMania. I don't even think that's even up for debate at this point.
Yeah, it's just like that. They just feel like Vince was like, "Oh, we brought back Carmella. Let's put her in a program with Sasha just to hold the spot until we get to the Rumble." Basically, that's all it felt like in the end. At no point did you think Carmella was ever going to win the title.
No, there was no tension, zero tension whatsoever.
Yeah,
in that match, I don't know. I was kind of bored. I'm not gonna lie. But then the women's Rumble kind of picked things up a little bit, in my opinion.
It picked things up. Let's get to the women's Rumble. This was interesting because the first two people in the ring were Bayley at number 1 and a returning Naomi at number 2, which was super interesting that she came back. She's been gone for a while. I was kind of hoping this would have brought Jimmy back as well, Jimmy Uso, but what it is. But she came back, and immediately, Bianca Belair comes in at number 3, and it was basically like them together almost the entire matchup. And it really showed me like that would be a dope ass tag team, Bianca Belair and Naomi, because how athletic they are. I just think the two of them together probably work pretty well if they put them as a tag team. There's a lot of cool things there. Billie Kay came out. Comedy spot there wasn't in the Rumble. She kept asking people, will you team with me? She still walk around with her resumes. I think she's entertaining as hell, and she plays her role well in the end. We got mic issues with Bonafide Heat. Yeah, can't.
Can't hear me? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're good now. You're good now. Yeah.
All right. So I was saying Billie Kay. I think. What was I saying? Oh, yeah. I think Billie Kay is very entertaining. Honestly, myself, like I really do. I'm one of the few people that likes the Iconics. Her spot was okay. Like overall, the women's Rumble, it kind of dragged. I think, in my opinion, because there's like. You really knew there was only 2 people that could win, and that was Rhea Ripley and then Bianca Belair. And then the cloud that is Charlotte Flair. Like, whenever there's an accolade to be won, Charlotte Flair's name will be there. It's just, she's like, what's the word? She's like a black cloud, like a gray cloud that's hangs over everything. So there was a little bit of a lack of tension, but I know you really like the women's Rumble, so I guess you should explain why.
Yeah, I liked it just because, I like the fact that Shotzi was in it. even though I think she was like the first person eliminated, which made no sense to me as to why she was. She has like some momentum in NXT. The fact that Toni Storm was in it was good. She had a good spot in it.
Oh,
Ripley. Rhea Ripley coming out. She had she had a similar spot to Damian Priest in the men's rumble, and just in terms of impact. But that I enjoyed the fact that they were in it. The Jillian Hall thing was. I thought it was dumb, but it was
the jokes with Toni Storm and Bayley just about their ass was like, oh my god, it was like, people were saying, there's too much ass in the ring right now. I'm like, bro,
it was a lot. Yeah, it was a lot. I mean,
Toni Storm, Naomi, Bayley, it was. I mean, the highlight of the show right there, the highlight of the Rumble, I should say, the highlight of that Rumble match, aside from Bianca Belair winning, of course.
It probably was. There was a lot of ass in that thing, especially Naomi. The way she needs, I think she needs to wear longer pants because it makes it look like she has a diaper on. To be honest with you, but that's the vibe I got. Like me and my wife were like, she looks like she's got a diaper on, and she does look like she had a diaper on. But it's good to see her back out there. She went a long way in there. I mean, I know Charlotte is what Charlotte is. A lot of people don't like her. A lot of people are not big fans of her. She does tend to take up a lot of the spotlight and a lot of the spots, and like you said, every accolade that there is out there to achieve, she will get it before anybody else does. It is what it is. I mean, I guess it's just because her dad's Ric Flair. I mean, and
we gotta talk about that. Ric Flair coming out, like what, bro? People actually thought that Ric Flair was going to be an entrant in the Women's Rumble. Like for whatever reason, that his music hits, he makes his entrance, and I thought Lacey Evans' music was gonna hit immediately after, but it was like a weird pause for like Ric Flair's walking out on the stage, and then Lacey Evans comes out. I'm like, what is the point of this? Like the whole Lacey Evans Ric Flair thing is so bad, bro. It's so bad.
It's getting worse and worse. It honestly is. And like it's weird. I mean, like, are they fucking or are they not? I mean, is there something there? They're gonna have like an angle where they like a segment when they start kissing or some shit like that, or is it just some weird like?
It reminds me of like with Tori Wilson and Dawn Marie and her dad. Yeah. It reminds me of the whole thing. It's kind of weird. It's disgusting. It's honestly. It's gross. Oh my god, bro. But yeah, I didn't really have any problems with the Women's Rumble. Like I cannot say anything bad about it overall. I wanted Bianca Belair to win. I think most people wanted Bianca Belair to win. I think that's pretty fair to say. And I actually thought, like, from a wrestling standpoint and a storytelling standpoint, this match was really well done. Especially, like, I liked how they had Rhea Ripley eliminate Charlotte. Yep. That was a nice touch. Because I think if they had Charlotte eliminate Rhea, it would have been, like, kind of, like, a little too much. Because Charlotte already beat Rhea at WrestleMania last year. Yep. So it was kind of like Rhea got one up on Charlotte. So now we're moving on with that. Maybe that feud will develop down the line. But they did some crazy spots, bro, where like they were hanging on the apron, the two of them together. Yeah, and then like the whole spot that Bianca did with Naomi. I thought it was a really well done women's match.
Yeah, it's interesting when they start throwing her hair into the big long ass ponytail into the matchups and into the matches and start like doing little tricks with it. That's what happened with Naomi. Yeah, she used it to kind of make her way back up. At that point, I was like, they'll be good as a tag team together. Like her and Sasha will be good, Bianca and Sasha. But I think Bianca and Naomi would be a really good tag team if they ever decide to push them tag team titles. But I don't think they ever will. That's a tag team you could actually put in that shit. But my beef with the Women's Royal Rumble, the only thing I really have an issue with was the fact. I have two things actually. The first thing is like I hate when they bring the legends back, right? Because Alicia Fox, I guess, is a legend, and Jillian Hall, I guess, is a legend. But when they have like a girl like Victoria come back and do moves that she shouldn't be doing currently because she hasn't been in the ring for such a long time, and they look bad, they come off bad, and that. And
I'm sorry to cut you off. We got to talk about the Jillian thing because I have something to say about Victoria, but Jillian, JBL should have been there. They should have had JBL like commentary. It would have made sense. Like you got the King. Why not bring the band back together? Why not do JBL, King, and Michael Cole for the women's match? We could have had JBL playing the hits. Oh, he's a legend, Michael. Like it would have been great. It would have been great. But like, yeah, Jillian was great. But like you said with Victoria, I'll let you finish there.
Yeah, it's like she did like this springboard leg drop on top of Naomi. And I think she literally almost broke Naomi's face when she did it. So spots like that, they shouldn't have him keep doing.
Yeah, that was scary.
Yeah, it's just spots like that. Like they haven't been in the ring such a long time. And then the Alicia Fox stuff with 24/7 championship. I mean, like, fuck.
Oh, dude, like, bro, that was so bad. I was like, yo, what the fuck am I watching right now? Like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
We got a Royal Rumble. You're gonna have R-Truth in the middle of the women's Royal Rumble. You're gonna have R-Truth come out with the 24/7 championship. You have like all these jobbers, Tozawa, and Bobby Roode, all these guys from catering chasing R-Truth around. Like, bro, are you kidding me? Give me a break. Give me a break. Like, come on. Like, really, like, that's what we're doing. It's the Royal Rumble match. Like the whole thing is women's rights, women's equality. This whole agenda that Stephanie McMahon and Triple H is trying to push. Then you're gonna have the men interject themselves in the Royal Rumble. I thought it didn't really make sense from the whole like big picture. It just didn't make sense at all.
Well, it's like when they had James Ellsworth help out Carmella, the first women's bank, and then they redid it like the next week on SmackDown and shit. It's basically the same type of stuff they keep doing. For some reason, I don't understand why. It's not even like the segments are any that good. Like for them to have R-Truth come out there and get pinned by Alicia Fox. Alicia Fox gets eliminated, then he pins her back, and then in the end, we get Peter Rosenberg as 24/7 champion. Just get rid of the fucking belt.
I think C Nation Dog makes a good point. We should touch on this. He said that the Women's Rumble should be 20 women, and I really couldn't agree more. I mean, they're really stretching to get 30 women. When you're telling us that Alicia Fox, Victoria, and Tori Wilson are legends, it's really tough to believe. Like in 10 years or so, when WWE's telling us that Sasha Banks is a legend, Becky Lynch is a legend, and they're making their return, it'll be more believable because they were like real mainstream stars and big characters on TV. But when you're strutting out Tori Wilson, they're like, who cares about Tori Wilson? Does who remembers Tori Wilson aside from the hardcore wrestling fans? You know, it's a reach.
It is a reach. He makes a good point. Let's see. Let's get back to the comments. Oh, so Cena Nation said he predicted Edge to win the Rumble by being number 1. Good call on that. I hope you put money on that. Always talks wrestling. The last 5 in the Rumble weren't as big as last year. For the men's, yeah, I would say so probably. Kobe Talk says Rhea versus Alexa Bliss down the line sounds good. That does not sound like a good matchup. She did eliminate Alexa. That's one of the things I'm going to touch on as I didn't like about the women's. Last year's Rumbles were better in my opinion. I would say maybe the men's might have been better last year, but I think the women's might have been better this year. My pick was Nakamura. He was a sleeper, and I'm surprised he didn't make it to like the final 4 of them. We have next. I'm not trying to be rude. I think the women's that we got over that one. Cena Dog agrees. Always talk wrestling. There's not enough women on the current roster. That's why. Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, and then they bring back these legends. They're not really like legends, like you said. But the thing with Alexa Bliss, she comes out. It seems like she's gonna like dominate, and everybody starts jumping her because they're trying to stop her from like doing the transformation. She's about to do it, and then Rhea Ripley just eliminates her, and then that was it. I don't know what the fuck that was.
Very disappointing. Yeah, that's what that was. It was very disappointing. I could pretend to care, but I just okay. It's Alexa Bliss, like whatever. We already knew Bianca Belair was gonna win. We knew it. I don't know.
They had the Alexa Bliss kind of being booked with Randy. I thought they were like kind of made her a little bit more of a viable threat to win it, but I think she would put at least more of a showing in there. I mean, that shit was like ridiculous. Like, dude, just do the transformation, and then everybody has to eliminate her at once or some shit like that.
Yeah, she's the biggest star of the women's division, and they wasted her.
Yeah,
but they don't want to overexpose her at the same time because I think she is limited nowadays in the ring. So they do have to be careful with her too at the same time.
Yeah, they do. We did get a Nikki Cross side, and we haven't seen her in a long time. She was in the Rumble. Nikki Cross. I was actually thought you didn't hear me on that one too.
But Nikki Cross. All right, can we move on? Can we move on? I'm tired of talking about this Rumble. Like let's talk about that tribal chief, man.
Well, there we go. There's the picture. Bianca Belair, is the winner. She eliminated Rhea Ripley. They were the final 2. The final 3 was Charlotte Flair. She got eliminated. She continues her feud with what's her face, Lacey Evans, and then that continues on. Let's see in the chat. We have Corbin eliminated Nakamura, which is pathetic. Yes, it was. That is true. That was pathetic. That was not the right person to eliminate Nakamura. It didn't make a lot of sense. But let's get to the last man standing match, which is probably the best match of the night because it is the Tribal Chief. You already know what that is. Also, that Yokozuna documentary looks awesome on the network. I got to watch that after we finish this up because I think it looked really good. Talking about, the Anoa'i family. This match was like all over the place. I liked how they went backstage into that big ass, the actual field of Tropicana Field and started brawling over there. I think that was like the best part of it. The golf carts part was kind of nuts because it reminded me of Sammy Guevara, but this was like a lot more hardcore because he went through the entire windshield. Even saw Roman kind of flinch back because he looked like he fell right into his face. It
reminded me of when Kane ran over Raven. Yeah, those were the vibes that I got instantly. Instantly. Bro, this match was awesome. What can you say? Aside from the finish sucked. They butchered the finish. Paul Heyman couldn't get the handcuff working. They butchered the finish so bad, dude. Oh my god! But the match itself was great. They put on a show. Kevin Owens, I wasn't completely sold on him as a babyface.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I think he's a better heel, but man, he impressed the hell out of me. This was like the best performance. This was the best I've seen Kevin Owens be in a long time, probably since he debuted on the main roster in like 2016. I'd say, yeah, this is the best he's been for me. Match was just crazy, bro. They did everything you could think of. They literally hitting each other with the kitchen sink. We had golf carts involved. It was crazy.
Spot was pretty wild too. The forklift spot when he did the
forklift, yeah,
the swanton off the top. That shit was nuts. But yeah, the ending was ruined by Paul Heyman. He just couldn't get like the cuffs off. But I thought it was interesting when he has the cuffs on at first. This is when I thought Kevin Owens actually might win. At 9, he grabs the ref and just tosses his ass and crashes him into the set. I thought that was real like interesting of like a way to work it instead of like real like heelish of him to like he knows he's lost, so let me grab the ref and just knock him out so I can continue on. And then he couldn't get the handcuffs off, and the new ref was kind of like trying to buy time because the cuffs weren't coming off.
That was so bad.
Yeah, it was super bad. Yeah,
it looked like Roman was gonna lose though for a second when Kevin Owens handcuffed him, and then they waited till like 8.5 seconds, so they had Roman throw the ref into the stage.
Yeah,
and that was pretty cool. I mean, it was a good hard hitting match. Like, geez, bro, Roman Reigns is the best wrestler in the world. It's like not even for debate, man. It's really like in my mind, it's not even for debate. He's doing it on the WWE, the biggest stage in the world.
Yep.
He's doing it at the highest level. Every match he's had since he's come back has been a banger. It's been a 5-star match. If they were in Japan, they'd be a 5-star match. Like, everything he's done has just been incredible.
Yeah, Meltzer gives those Tokyo Dome matches 5-6 stars all the time. If WWE hates on all the time, but yeah, no doubt, Roman Reigns is the best dude out there right now. And so it's just the overall character and the way everything's formed up. It's just the best shit out there,
Oh yeah,
yeah,
man, yeah, dude. Go ahead.
In the chat, we had Bianca Belair was winning, which was very emotional. True story. Yeah, she was very emotional afterwards, thinking about her.
Oh, did you see the moment when she was hugging her Montez Ford? Did you see that?
Oh no, I didn't catch that one. No, she was hugging him.
Yeah, in the backstage, WWE's Twitter account posted it. Oh my god, so emotional, man. I'm so happy for her. She deserves it, bro. Unbelievable.
Yeah, that's a big spot for her. Yeah, to be in that spot. Without Roman versus KO, the show would have been average. You got a point there, dude. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, it would have been just like another Royal Rumble, right? But this kind of like elevates a little bit higher just because of that match itself. I felt like Kevin Owens became Kevin Steen, his best showing in WWE. Yeah, I mean, it really was.
Yeah, we should talk about that. It felt like indie Kevin Owens, like the indie guy that he was. That was like for a hardcore match or whatever you want to call it, last man standing. That was pretty violent for PG standards. Like, that was one of the more violent matches that we've seen. Roman was bleeding, the handcuffs. Like, you really don't see that kind of stuff nowadays since they went PG. You don't really see that kind of stuff. It was pretty edgy.
It was, and with the golf cart, I mean, that's like nuts shit. Like, you don't see that very much on the PG era. Yeah, so it's like you wouldn't expect them to pull that one out. So it was pretty nuts that they did.
They had to go all out too because the feud was kind of cold. Like nobody
I think Adam Pearce really made that feud as cold, that cold. Yeah, at that point, just
exactly.
Adam Pearce like swerve angle was just like, ugh.
Yeah, they had to do something with the match too. And like on top of that, they're in the Thunderdome. There's no fans. Like when Kevin Owens got thrown off of the Thunderdome, that was crazy. Or whatever. Like what do they call it? Where the fans sit, the digital boards. When they were fighting up in that area, and then Roman threw him off. Bruh.
Yeah, he took one hell of a bump again off of that. I thought like they were gonna end the match quick at that point because like how the fuck does he get up from that? But he did, and he went through a lot more. But yeah, it is better that he's a better babyface now than he was previously just because of this one spot right here, with Roman Reigns and Kevin Owens going in there. So Roman Reigns still Universal Champion, puts the guillotine on his ass after the botched finish with the handcuffs. So it hurt the match a little bit. Probably would have got 6 star, but now it gets 5 stars. Next thing on the show was the men's Royal Rumble, and it started off with Edge and Orton. Interesting thing going on here. Sami Zayn gets in, and then you have Mustafa Ali coming in, and they're pretty much just beating the living hell out of Edge to start off the match. The 3 heels against the one baby face until Jeff Hardy gets in the ring.
I got a funny story about this. So I'm watching the Royal Rumble, the men's Royal Rumble with match with my parents. And my parents, they don't know. They know Edge, they know John Cena, they know Randy Orton. They don't really know. Like that's the extent of their wrestling knowledge. My mom sees Sami Zayn and she's like, who is that homeless guy in the ring? Like, why is this homeless guy in the ring? Yeah. Like, come on, Sami Zayn, bro. Try to look somewhat decent. But that's part of his character, I guess. He's like this humanitarian, this tree hugger type guy.
Yeah.
Whatever, what have you? I don't know, but yeah, like you said, Orton and Edge starting it off was cool. Like for what it was, you know, I'm so tired of Randy Orton. So tired of this guy. Like I've literally been watching Randy Orton. You too. You've been watching Randy Orton for 15 years now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Longer than 15 years. We're going on 20 years of Randy Orton. There's only so much that this guy can do. He's done everything. He's won 2 Royal Rumbles. He's a 14-time champion. So whenever he's involved, I'm like,
You're not feeling it anymore, yeah.
No, like I don't care. It's cool. It's a little ode to Rated RKO. They had a great feud last year, but I'm glad that Edge is done with him. Like I really like that spot when Edge hit him with the chair and they took Orton to the back. I was like, okay, now you're speaking my language. No, Orton, I don't have to look at Orton for the next 50 minutes.
Yeah.
Now you're talking my language.
And then when he makes his return, he gets thrown out quick, right? Like,
bro, that's part about it. Like, oh my god, I thought he was gonna win his 3rd Royal Rumble. I was so. If you would have seen my reaction, I was pissed. I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me? We're gonna have Orton again. Orton's gonna win it because like Edge eliminates Rollins. They have to struggle, and then Orton RKO's Edge real quick.
Yeah. Oh, you got cut out. You got cut out by the streaming software. So Bonafide Heat reconnecting. Let's get him back in here.
I think I lost you.
There you go.
Yeah. So like, you got Edge again. I mean, not Edge, Orton again. I wouldn't even have done this review if Randy Orton had won again. I'll be honest with you. I would not even have been here if Randy Orton won. You kidding me, bro? Like Randy Orton again. I was so and how underwhelming was that Final 4? Braun Strowman.
It was. Yeah. Braun Strowman at number 30 was just like the killer of the match, basically at that point. Yeah, it was just
Braun Strowman, Seth Rollins, Edge, and Christian. Yeah, it's great to see Christian, but Christian Final 4. He hasn't wrestled in like 7 years, and he's Final 4. I love Christian. Don't take this the wrong way, but I love Christian. But Final 4, I don't know. Like that, just you got a part timer. Like he gets eliminated. Daniel Bryan gets eliminated before him. Like it should have been. Daniel Bryan should have been in the Final 4. I get it. He doesn't want to book himself. He's a writer, whatever. He doesn't want to book himself as his big thing. But bro, like that Final 4 was super underwhelming. I'm glad Edge won, but come on.
They should have put put Cesaro in that spot at least, or like, you know what I'm saying? Like a guy. What does Christian gain, or what does anybody gain from Christian being in that spot? He hasn't been in the ring in forever, and you're gonna put him in a Final 4 spot. Edge, I understand because he's just a bigger superstar than Christian ever was, basically. But yeah, like. That Final 4 was just lackluster as hell. And when Braun Strowman came in, I was like, Jesus Christ, here we go. The number 30, Braun Strowman, right after Seth Rollins makes a surprise. It wasn't really a surprise because Becky Lynch on her Instagram story posted the curtain and gorilla. So you knew at that point Seth Rollins was going to make his appearance. Always Talks Wrestling says if Orton won, I would have been pissed. You're not the only one. Now that you think of this year's Rumble, other than Edge, Rumble was trash, to be honest.
It was. This men's match was super underwhelming. My boy Carlito, fellow Boricua, shout out to him. Carlito returned. Great to see Carlito. But he didn't do anything. Yeah, he didn't do the apple spot. I get it. It's a pandemic. It probably wouldn't have been the best look. Spitting an apple in somebody's face. It probably wouldn't have been the best look. But that's his gimmick, man.
Somebody would have been upset about that one, yeah.
Like he comes out, Carlito comes out, and my parents are like, who is this Asian guy that's in the ring with Carlito? They're like, why is he like, what is he doing? Like, how he does that vibrating move where he like puts his leg on someone and vibrates? Like, what is this guy doing? And I was like, I was trying to sell it to them. Like, this guy wrestled in Japan. He's cool, whatever. Everybody loves him. But then, like, I wanted to see the apple spot. Like, he didn't do anything. He came in the ring. He was in there for 10 minutes and didn't do anything at all.
Yeah, he was kind of just around. Like, he did a couple of the backstabber things, and that was pretty much it. That was like the end of it. Like, he just. Yeah. What I was hoping was that when he first showed up and he came down the ramp, he would have spit in Orton's face as Orton was being taken back.
That would have been great.
That would have been great. Just take the apple and just spit in his face as he goes back because he's injured and shit. That would have been like the best spot of the show. But Damian Priest had a big showing in it.
Yes.
Now this is, I think this shit is cringe as hell. I'm a Bad Bunny fan, but that spot with him and The Miz and Morrison, I thought that shit was kind of cringe, like him going up the top, and he almost fucked up that dive because he almost slipped on or like banged up the top of the rope, and that shit would have been a disaster. But that happening, I mean, I guess it was what it was. You wanted to be out there. He probably asked for it, or they probably asked him to do it, and it just, I don't know. I find that shit cringe when they do shit like that. I don't know.
I said the same thing. Bad Bunny's a super wrestling fan.
Yeah.
It was great to see him there. It's for the culture. It's for the culture. It's great to see Bad Bunny represented. the Latino culture being embraced by an American company is great, but it was like the Miz. Oh, I got a side rant. We might be here for a while if we're gonna have a side rant here.
Drop this on him. Drop it on him.
So you got Bad Bunny does his performance. Booker T looks like a freaking badass. Performance was amazing. Shout out to Bad Bunny. Shout out to Booker T. They do this performance, and then afterwards we see the Miz and John Morrison. And I'm like, oh, God, are you kidding me, bro? The Miz, are you kidding me? Like, really, The Miz. Oh, my God. I'm watching this. I'm like, The Miz is going to have a segment with Bad Bunny. Out of everybody they could have Bad Bunny be in the ring with, they put him in there with The Miz. You know, you could put him in there with Edge. Have him do a backstage with Edge. Somebody that's a star that people know who they are.
Yeah.
Or have him in there with Seth Rollins, maybe, or whoever. Put him in there with, like, I don't know, anybody. Anybody but the freaking Miz, bro. Put him in there with Shinsuke Nakamura. It would have been better. Like, having Nakamura speak broken English and Bad Bunny speak broken English, it would have been more entertaining than listening to the Miz talk for 5 minutes. So the Miz comes up and he's like, "Oh, I want you to be a part of." What did he say? I want to do a collaboration with Bad Bunny. You can benefit from working with an A-list celebrity like the Miz. You know, I'm like, bro, get this out of here. I'm so tired of this A-list celebrity nonsense character. So then Bad Bunny, such a waste of him. Such a waste. They have him attack the Miz. Good God. Like, what is he? Is he gonna have a match now on Raw? Are we gonna see Bad Bunny versus the Miz?
I fucking hope not. Jesus Christ. That shit would be absolutely terrible if they did that shit. I mean, Jesus, I don't like that shit, to be honest with you. If you're gonna put him, like, first off, the Miz is just one of the most, at this point, one of the most illegitimate motherfuckers to be holding that briefcase and to be in a spot like that with a superstar of Bad Bunny's like caliber. It's bad shit, man. Like, fuck, it was bad. I saw that shit and I was like, suck my ass. Like, get the fuck out of here with this shit. Like,
wrestling fans were not embracing Bad Bunny either. I was a little disappointed.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not a fan of him, I guess, but I just like people don't like when the celebrities get involved in shit. But like, I don't see that many people. I hope people complain when Shaq gets involved with the AEW and that mixed tag. Like,
I don't want to see that either.
I don't want the same type of shit. Like this is what we get, you know.
I don't want to see that either. Shaq and Cody Rhodes, like that's a whole other rant for another day.
That's gonna be a bad one, yeah. In the comments, you got always talk wrestling. Now that you Raw ratings down, Edge won't even come much on the show. Edge mostly won't win the title. As if he goes after Drew McIntyre. I think he goes after Reigns, to be honest with you. Like, I think he's gonna go after Reigns. Edge only wrestles 3 times a year, so he mostly won't win. Booker T looked like an idiot when Bad Bunny was wrapping around him.
I mean, that's the same thing they did in the music video. If you've seen the music video,
same exact thing. He just stands there with his arms crossed, looking like a badass for the most part.
I don't see why people have a problem with that. Booker T looks like who? Like, you gonna fuck with Booker T? Booker T looks like a legitimate threat.
Yeah, exactly. Kobe says, I thought Booker was entering. So did I. Like, I thought Booker was going to be in the Rumble because the way he looked like he's in shape to like still go out there, and he probably would have been a better spot than, let's face it, the Miz probably. If you put the Miz with Roman, the Miz will ruin him. Yeah, most likely. Kobe talks maybe too. We didn't get great superstars coming. They should have got Cardi B instead of Bad Bunny, and we would have got Cardi versus Ronda.
Bro. Yeah, talk about ruining the Tribal Chief. If WWE wants to kill all of the momentum the Tribal Chief has, have a feud with the Miz. That'll do it right there. You know, like, I'd rather him cash in on Drew McIntyre. But so overall, what are your thoughts on Edge winning the Royal Rumble?
I think it was kind of like the fact that they didn't have Keith Lee is why they did it. Be honest with you, I think that's why. I'm fine with it. Like, it is what it is. I kind of wanted AJ to win because I'm a big AJ guy. I didn't want Daniel Bryan to win because they missed their shot all those years ago. They shouldn't try to do it now when it's past this, where it should have been. Edge is fine. I mean, like, it is what it is. Like, they really had nobody else to pick from.
Yeah. Honestly, yeah. Like, would you rather? I mean, Daniel Bryan would have been, I don't want to say a better choice than Edge, but I would rather see Daniel Bryan than like Seth Rollins or Braun Strowman or Sheamus. Like, a lot of people are saying they're going to do Sheamus win the Rumble and then Sheamus face McIntyre. That would have been cringe. So I would have rather like Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan probably, out of everybody in the match, Daniel Bryan probably would have been my second choice. Because Edge, I thought the way it went, because there was no Brock, there was no John Cena, there was no star power, there's no Goldberg. I was hoping for Goldberg to come out at 30 and just eliminate Daniel Bryan and Nakamura with one finger and clean house and win the match. That would have been better than Braun Strowman coming in at number 30.
That would have been good for business because people would have been going all crazy over that shit on the internet.
Exactly. Now we're just left with this finish that's like, okay, Edge is a legend, I get it, but at the same time, he wrestles 3 times a year. and he's already won the Royal Rumble. He's a 10-time world champion. He's done everything that there is to do in the wrestling business. Does he really need a Royal Rumble? It's a great story. It's a great story. The redemption, him coming out number 2 or 1, whatever, and going 57 minutes, winning the Rumble. It's a great story. But at the end of the day, it's not gonna be a world beater. You know, people aren't gonna be going crazy about Edge winning. It's just, I mean, but like you said, they didn't have Keith Lee. So you would have rather Keith Lee? You would rather seen that?
I would have rather win Keith Lee. I think it's like, you know, I think he's just such a star. Like, to be honest with you, the way he carries himself and the way he is, and I think he's probably been the best guy. Like, because honestly, I look up and down the roster, like, who the hell else could they really pick? To be honest with you, that really would have made an impact. Like I said, AJ, because that's just me being biased. Seth already won 2 years ago. He comes back. You know, you don't
bro, mini rant there too. Seth Rollins won. That's arguably the worst Royal Rumble besides 2015. 2019 is probably the second worst Royal Rumble in history. I think we can agree on that. That Rumble was so bad, dude. You had Ziggler and Andrade in the final 4 with Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
And it was so predictable. And have Rollins win again would have been terrible, you know? Oh, God.
Especially so close to each other. Like, you just won 2 years ago and have him win again. So, like I said, like, there's nobody really, like, you could have picked. So, for me, I just would have been, you pick a new guy in Keith Lee, or you go with AJ. But they just...
Why not Lashley, though? Why not Lashley?
Because they just have, like, I don't know what they have. Like, they have a fucking issue with Lashley, or they just don't see him in that spot, to be honest with you. Because if that was the case, they would have done, like that video you made, Lashley and Brock needs to happen already, right? This year. They should have done that shit, like, years ago. But they just, I don't know. They just seem never to push the trigger on Bobby Lashley. I don't know what it is. Because he's legit from, like, top to bottom. You just look at him. I mean, he may not be that great on the mic, but you have a mouthpiece and MVP talking for him. It would, and he had a big showing. He eliminated a bunch of guys. I mean, I think he even eliminated Damian Priest. You know,
he did.
Yeah. And then, what do you think about the Kane spot?
I knew it was gonna happen. You knew Kane was coming back. WWE loves to play the hits. A Kane return. That's so WWE. Like, that's WWE in a nutshell. Just have Kane come back for no reason. You know, I forgot who he eliminated. Who was it?
He eliminated Jesus. I can't even fucking remember either. Let me see if it says it here. Was
it Ziggler? I think it was Ziggler.
He did eliminate Ziggler. Yeah, he did eliminate Ziggler. He eliminated some Ricochet.
Oh, okay. So he didn't do anything special.
Yeah.
He did the double choke slam. I thought that was cool. But I mean, he came in for 5 minutes. That's all he could do. The dude's a mayor. He's a freaking politician now. He's not a wrestler anymore. He can't do more than 5 minutes in the ring.
I don't know if I get why they do it. They love, like you said, they love playing the fucking hits. They just love that shit. One of the more interesting things though was who was it you said that wanted Riddle to win the Rumble?
Oh, there's somebody on Twitter. God, somebody on Twitter said, I don't know who it is. I don't want to put them out there. Let me see.
I put the name out there. The tweet was funny when you brought it up to me.
Yeah. Let me see. I'll find it. Keep talking. I'll find it.
Let me go into the chat real quick. World of Wrestling, what's up, bro? I say Edge faces McIntyre at Mania. Sheamus wins briefcase from Miz and cashes on an Edge and Mania after he wins Seth at Mania. I mean, that'd be a big surprise. It'd be pretty cool. When Seth did it, it was awesome. So I mean, I don't know if it had the same effect if Sheamus does it, but it'd be pretty cool. The top superstars in the Rumble: Orton, Edge, AJ, Seth, and that's it. You're right about that, dude. Pretty much. To be honest with you. I think we will get Edge versus Roman. Yeah, it's probably the smartest one to get because like Edge versus McIntyre doesn't really do it for anybody. At least you could book Battle of the Spear, I guess. Whenever anyone from the Shield wins, everyone gets pissed until now. You got a point there. Priest would have been a good shout to win the Rumble. Yeah, I think it would have been a big ass surprise and people would have been talking about it like hardcore. But yeah, it's probably too soon. I think somebody said here it was too soon. Yeah, World of Wrestling, it's a little bit too soon for him, but it would have been pretty interesting if they would have done it. It's like a real out of the box shit for WWE to pull off. Always Talk Wrestling, it was absolute BS when Kane came. It's a spot for Kane. I mean, it's not much else you could do.
I found the tweet. So this guy responds to my tweet. I put a tweet out basically saying thoughts on Edge winning the Rumble. And this guy says, not happy. I wanted AJ Styles or at least Riddle. Riddle. Like, could you imagine Matt Riddle wins the Royal Rumble? Like, everybody that just signed up to the WWE Network to watch Edge win and to watch Goldberg squash this guy named Drew McIntyre, they would have been like, who is this Riddle guy? Like, who is this stoner guy that wrestles without shoes? Yeah. My parents have some choice words for him. They said some things that I can't really repeat. They're from an older generation. I'll just leave it at that. they said some things about Matt Riddle. You can imagine they said about his preferences, you know.
Yeah, I got just where you're going.
so they were like, okay, they're gonna have this guy win the Royal Rumble and go to WrestleMania now. I mean, I was like surprised at how long he lasted in the match. Honestly, I thought he was gone when Strowman came out. I thought he was gonna be one of the guys that Strowman threw out.
Yeah, but fuck, I can't believe somebody actually wanted Riddle to win that match. But the two choices was like AJ and Riddle. I mean, like AJ, I understand, but Riddle, I mean, fuck, he can't. He's struggling to beat, majority of the Hurt Business. Like, imagine him trying to go for win the Rumble and go for the title after that. Good showings from Nakamura and Cesaro in this shit though too. Like, they are getting a little bit of a push.
Imagine if Matt Riddle. Imagine Matt Riddle. You have Matt Riddle versus Drew McIntyre. Like, that has to be on the short list of the most underwhelming main events. Like, when you're talking like the most underwhelming main events in WrestleMania history, that has to be on the short list of it.
It has to be, yeah, definitely, yeah. That's like if you had the NBA Finals and it was like the Grizzlies versus
the Kings,
like that, yeah, like some bullshit teams where you're just like, Jesus Christ, the ratings are gonna suck ass for that one. So that would have happened. But like Edge winning, it's obvious. I mean, I guess they don't really choose, but again, remember WrestleMania is two nights. They need 4 headliners, so they're gonna go with a trusted commodity, I guess, at that point. Like, they do.
Yeah, I want to see Edge versus Roman. I want to see John Cena versus Drew McIntyre, or the other way around. I don't care. Give me John Cena versus Roman, and give me Edge versus McIntyre. Either way, I'll be fine. I don't know. At this point, is Edge gonna win the title? Is that? I don't think so. I don't think so.
I think it's just like it could be just one last hurrah or some shit like that. Like, I think they just went with it, to be honest with you, because I honestly think it was because of Keith Lee not being there. That's the only thing I could think of. Like, what other reason would they have really to have Edge win the Rumble?
Well, they couldn't get Brock back. If they would have got Brock back, Brock would have won. Bro, like people wanted Daniel Bryan. I don't understand why people wanted Daniel Bryan and Nakamura so bad. I can't put a finger. I can't get a grip around why people wanted those two guys to win so bad.
I don't understand. I mean, Nakamura, to win, he just won like, a few years ago. So like, why have him win again? Because that run didn't really work out from the end to begin with. That was pretty much the end of his WWE run till now.
Yeah, he was in love with AJ's balls.
Exactly. Fucking nut shot after nut shot after. Vince loves nut shots, but that many nut shots, Jesus Christ.
To have a whole feud built around nut shots was so ridiculous. That's the PG era in a nutshell right there, pal.
So ridiculous. But yeah, Daniel Bryan, like, again, they had their shot. They didn't pull it off. But it might have worked out better that way because they got the big WrestleMania 30 moment anyways. But to be honest with you, like, why the fuck do it now? Like, you're doing fan service at that point. Like, it makes no fucking sense to have him win anyways.
Not at all. They have Daniel Bryan win again.
Yeah.
Or not again, but Daniel Bryan win like now. I don't know. But I mean, yeah, it was safe because Edge was safe because at the end of the day, like, you have no fans. So they had to have a moment that you could show on TV that looked good.
Yeah.
Edge standing there doing this, like with the pyro going off. He looks like a star. No matter what you say about Edge, like, you can't deny this. Whether you like him or not, you can't deny that Edge looks like what a superstar is supposed to look like.
Yeah.
So him closing out the show, like you said, without Keith Lee being there, is the best way to go. They couldn't get Brock. They couldn't get Cena to come back. They couldn't get they couldn't get Keith Lee. Unfortunate circumstances. If Daniel Bryan's ever gonna win a Royal Rumble, there has to be fans in attendance.
Yeah, because you need the fan participation with the yes chance to really make it pop off on screen and shit. Like, if you wanted to push it mainstream, you could, because you'll see all the fans doing the yes chance and shit like that. But like I said, it's way past. Like, the
yes movement's dead.
Yeah,
nobody cares about the yes movement anymore. When Daniel Bryan came back in 2018, the yes movement was dead.
Definitely, yeah. It wasn't nowhere near where it was previously before that. Yeah, it was just like something for people to do.
Yeah, nobody cared. Like, it was over. It was a lightning in the bottle type thing. It was a bunch of people on the internet that wanted their guy to win, and they complained until it happened. And it just so happened that Daniel Bryan had a catchphrase that got over with the casual audience at the same time. Because if he was a guy like Cesaro, the internet loves Cesaro, but Cesaro's never going to be in the main event because he doesn't have a catchphrase that gets over with the masses like Daniel Bryan. As much as we love the guy, I mean, I love Daniel Bryan, but like, I'm thinking about it, really super underwhelming, man. underwhelming Royal Rumble overall.
It was like kind of pretty obvious. The only two big things were Christian and Carlito basically showing up. I mean, because you didn't expect Carlito really.
I didn't expect Christian. We got to talk about that. Is Christian gonna wrestle now? He hasn't wrestled in 7 years.
I think he kind of has to. I mean, because like it's kind of wasted to have him in the Final Four. And he's not even going to continue to wrestle.
Yeah, that was a nice moment. He came out and I was like, oh, I didn't know Christian could wrestle. I kind of got emotional a little bit. I was like, oh, what? Okay, this is cool. Like, I love Christian. I'm a big Christian fan. Christian should be in the freaking Hall of Fame already. It's a travesty that he's not in the Hall of Fame, but that's another story. But like, he should. I mean, he should wrestle. The fact that he was in the Final Four, if he doesn't wrestle, that's kind of lame.
It's kind of lame. Yeah, that's the spot you could have had somebody else, like it's Cesaro Nakamura or somebody just to take that spot instead of him, because it's like he's not going to wrestle no more. What the hell's the point of putting him in that spot, the Final Four?
Yeah, but he looked okay, though, doing the Unprettier. He looked good. The fact that Daniel Bryan didn't make the Final Four kind of will grind my gears a little bit, that they had Christian in that spot over him. But I don't know. It is what it is. The moment was cool with Edge and Christian hugging and showing their love for each other, Edge crying. It was an awesome moment. I hope Christian does come back.
Yeah, let's get to the chat. Always talks wrestling says AJ Styles should have won. The fact that Taker wanted to face him for his final match shows how good it. I mean, I said it a million times. AJ from bell to bell is the closest thing to Shawn Michaels I've seen since Shawn Michaels. That's the thing. I don't think anybody is better than him bell to bell. Because I think he's the closest thing I've ever seen to Shawn Michaels in the ring. Next thing, World of Wrestling. Matt Riddle is so annoying now that I wanted to punch him in the face. LOL. I mean, even Bonafide always talks wrestling. I think Riddle's a pain in the ass. In the pain in the ass for Vince, he'll be demoted to NXT. I've heard different. I've heard Vince kind of likes him. He likes his, like he has. I think Vince thinks he has that kind of Shawn Michaels attitude that he likes so much. You know that Riddle.
I don't see it, bro.
Like, I think it's because he picks fights with like Brock and Goldberg. I think that's what he likes about him.
What's his gimmick though? He's a stoner.
I think that's pretty much all he has. To be honest,
he's like RVD. He's like the MMA version of RVD.
Yeah, pretty much. You're right about that.
You're gonna have a guy main event WrestleMania that doesn't even wear shoes? You kidding me, bro? Like, no, come on, this is not MMA. It's not.
Or him show up to like Good Morning America after WrestleMania wearing flip flops, like some shit like that. That's as champ. He's not gonna happen. It's not gonna be like a mainstream thing he pushes.
Nah.
Always talks wrestling. The commentator dude is 24/7 champ. Why Vince? Why?
Bro, not even a commentator. That dude is a freaking radio host, bro.
Yeah, it's a New York radio host. Yeah, I don't understand it. It makes no sense. It's probably just something to maybe get R-Truth on the Michael K show. Most likely, it's the only thing I could see happening, or on Hot 97, some shit like that.
I love Peter Rosenberg though. He's for the culture, man. He's blended hip hop and wrestling. Peter Rosenberg's a great asset to wrestling, so I love him though. I don't want to disparage him too much though, because the 24/7 title is a joke. It's like Alicia Fox was champion. We had Tozawa and R-Truth having like 10-minute matches on Raw for this title. The 24/7 title is a joke, so Rosenberg winning it doesn't affect it. It's just a prop. It's really nothing.
Yeah, you've had Kelly win that shit. I mean, it's like it's to a point where like anybody and everybody's gonna win it. It's just it doesn't really matter. It's just something to add to the show. Always talk wrestling saying, how is Nakamura bad? Nakamura was wasted by Vince. I totally agree with you. I think Vince has no idea whatsoever what to do with Nakamura. None whatsoever. I don't think Nakamura is bad. I think Nakamura is tremendous. It's just he can't really cut the promos that he has to. So I think that's what Vince has a problem with, and he's not gonna push him. Basically,
that's the only thing that holds Nakamura back. If Nakamura spoke English, he would be a massive star.
Yeah,
like that just goes. I think that goes without question.
Yeah, I think that's what Vince doesn't want to push him completely. So I was surprised when he won his first Rumble. I was surprised that it even happened.
Kobe, but they try to do like this thing where they had Smarks. They were trying to please the Smarks by doing AJ and Nakamura because that was like a 10-star match in the Tokyo Dome apparently. So they tried to recreate it at WrestleMania and it just flopped.
It wasn't at the Tokyo Dome. I mean, like, there's no possible way it could succeed if it's not the Tokyo Dome. Kobe Talk says we could see Seth Rollins versus Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania. I mean, yeah, we could if the storyline kind of takes away from breaks apart from there, we could. I think if Edge faces McIntyre, you're gonna get Seth versus Roman. But even though they're two heels, I don't know how you would work it, but that's the only thing I can really think of. Seth versus Daniel Bryan is a match that could happen, but you really have to like start setting up the storyline like kind of like right now for it to work.
Is he done with Rey Mysterio?
You mean I don't think he's ever gonna be done Rey Mysterio. It's the longest storyline I've ever seen in my entire life. That shit is like Days of Our Lives, fucking like 30 seasons of that shit. That shit was nonstop. That shit went on forever. It was like the never end. It literally took the man to have a child for the storyline to stop. Like it literally took that. Shit is nuts. Storyline took forever. Let's see. Always talks wrestling. We already know that Becky will win the Money in the Bank briefcase and Keith Lee will win the men's Money in the Bank. I hope you're right, dude. To be honest with you, I do hope you're right. If that does happen, Daniel Bryan will win Rumble in 2050.
Bruh.
Oh man.
Daniel Bryan's greatest rival in the history of wrestling is the Royal Rumble. That's his greatest rival. He cannot win the Rumble. He doesn't even need it though. Like Daniel Bryan winning the Rumble would have just been like he's been humping Otis. Like that's what he's been doing the last few weeks on SmackDown. You know, he's like that's his claim. Like he's doing the YMCA dance or whatever, the Macarena with Otis. I'm sure that's what. And you want that guy to challenge the Tribal Chief? Like I love Daniel Bryan. I'm like one of Daniel Bryan's biggest fans. I've loved him since he started in WWE. But when you're doing stuff like that, I gotta call a spade a spade. I gotta be fair. You know, I'm not one of those people that's gonna hang with Daniel Bryan just because he's my favorite, and I'm gonna be like, oh, everything he does is great. If he does something bad and cringe, I'm gonna call it for what it is.
Which you should, yeah, because I mean that shit is cringe as hell. I ain't gonna lie. If the fans like a superstar, Vince hates them. I mean, yeah, I guess, yeah. If it's like an indie guy, then that tends to happen. Yeah, Christian won't wrestle 100%. I really hope he does, dude, because it'd be a waste to have him in the Final Four. World of Wrestling says Bryan winning the Rumble would have been bad because of how bad he was portrayed on SmackDown, and his momentum was stop and go.
Facts. Yeah, I touched on that.
Facts, big time facts right there. Riddle is the dumbest name in WWE history. Why isn't it Matt Riddle anymore? It's that weird Vince thing where he's like, oh, you know what? You don't have a first name no more, or you're one name now, or you know, whatever. It's that weird ass Vinceism shit where he just decides to change everything like that and has no rhyme or reason as to why the fuck he does it. Fun fact: most NXT champs are treated terribly on the main. Most NXT talent in general is treated like shit on the main roster. They have no idea how to book them when they start moving up. It's like a death sentence basically when they move up to the main roster. Here's a match at Mania: Drew versus Edge. Versus Orton versus Christian probably won't happen. LOL. That's from Kobe Talks.
All right, you trying to get my blood pressure going, bro? With that, come on, Kobe, bro. You know, come on, man.
Yeah, I want to hear your opinion on one. Go ahead, real quick. Let me hear your opinion on that fatal four-way right there.
Oh God, give me a break, bro. You're gonna have a 45-year-old Christian who hasn't wrestled in 7 years. You're gonna put him in a main event of WrestleMania. I get it, like they did it with Edge, but it wasn't like the top match, you know. And on top of that, Edge, like you said, Edge is a bigger star than Orton. Oh, bro. Like, just do Drew versus Edge. It doesn't need to be that complicated.
If they give us that fatal four-way, it's like WrestleMania 2000. That's the same shit, basically. Mm-hmm. That's the way I see that one as. They decided to just throw guys in there. They add Big Show. Let's add Mankind to give him a spot, and then you got what you got.
Talk about forgettable WrestleMania main events. That's at the top of the list right there.
McMahon in every corner. Yeah,
that was so bad, dude.
Yeah, nobody wants to see that shit again. Here comes another fun fact. Truth couldn't have watched Cena when he was a kid because he's 7 to 9 years older than John. Yeah.
Here's a fun fact too. Little Jimmy is an imaginary friend.
That is true. Yeah, Little Jimmy's imaginary friend. Yeah. I thought he was gonna go with the reason he couldn't watch Cena was because you can't see him. That's what I thought he was gonna go with, but then he went with the whole because he's older than him. Yeah.
You can't see him. I can't see him. I've never seen John Cena in my life.
There's no recorded videos or photographs of John Cena there's in the world because you just can't see him. Yeah. So the Rumble. I mean, it was what it was. Edge safe pick. I mean, I want to say one thing real quick. What the fuck does Miz have Money in the Bank? And he teased it on SmackDown. And he didn't even fucking show up like during any of the title matches at the end to try something at least. What the fuck was the point of that?
He's better than Otis, though.
Yeah, but
and even I have to admit that. Like, as much as I hate the Miz, I think this Money in the Bank's a joke, though. They need to retire it. What I want to see is Miz try to cash in, and McIntyre just Claymore kick him and pin him in 3 seconds.
That's it. Yeah,
that's what I want.
Because
like, give me that.
You had him unsuccessfully cash the shit in after you got Hermodus. You give it fucking back to him over a technicality, which is fine. I mean, WWE continuity matters, so they kept that shit going. But now what the hell was the point of him showing on SmackDown? What the fuck was the point? Like, honestly, in all seriousness, what the fuck was the point of him showing on SmackDown?
Did you listen to my SmackDown review?
Yes, I did.
That covers everything you need to know. For those of you, like, I know I always talk wrestling. You always listen to my stuff, bro. You know what I have to say about The Miz. Like, the Friday nights of my escape from The Miz. And then he shows up on SmackDown. I can't get away from the guy. What do I got to do?
As if WWE's watching your videos and they know that you escaped from The Miz on Friday nights. They were like, you know what? We're going to fuck with Bonafide Heat and we're going to put this man out there.
What do I got to do to get away from him? What do I got to do?
The only thing you can do is cancel your network subscription and stop watching WWE program because The Miz is never going away anytime soon.
The Miz is going to go into the Hall of Fame one day. And Michael Cole is going to read The Miz's resume. And WWE is going to act like he's one of the top 10 wrestlers to ever live.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be there to tell people, look, this guy sucked. I'm going to be sure to be doing wrestling podcasting for that long. I will be sure of that.
And so that point now, I think I'm correct in saying that Edge is the only Hall of Famer to ever win a Royal Rumble.
Yes, I think you are. Yeah, current Hall of Famer. Yeah, I think you are correct about that, sir.
That is correct, right? That's nuts, to be honest with you.
Crazy, bro.
So let's end it with what do you think is going to happen at WrestleMania in terms of WWE Championship and Universal Championship?
I think I'm holding out hope that we get John Cena versus Roman Reigns. I'm going to hold out hope for that. And I'm going to say we get Edge versus McIntyre. Straight up. Yeah, straight up. Yeah, I don't think we need Edge versus Roman. They could do that. It would be a great match. But I think they could, if they could get Cena, I would rather see Cena versus Roman.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that's good. What do you think about the women's real quick?
Bianca Belair and Sasha. We'll probably get Charlotte versus Asuka. That's my gut feeling. We'll get Charlotte versus Asuka for the Raw Women's title. Yeah, that probably be I have to say.
All right. So for me, it would have to be. I think they'll probably go Drew Edge. Even though I don't really want us to baby faces going at each other, it really never really works out that well. And I think they're probably. I would want Roman versus Brock. I think that would be the most like logical one to go with if they can get Brock to actually show up and actually do it. If not, I would probably agree Roman versus Cena on that one. Obviously, Sasha versus Bianca. I think I'm still holding on to hope. That it'll happen. Asuka versus Alexa Bliss. Alexa Bliss wins the Raw Women's Championship.
Oh, that'd be fire.
Still holding on to hope that shit would happen because Asuka's run has been trash. They've been booked so bad. It's so bad. Always Talk Wrestling. What will they have in February and match? Because Mania is in April. I think Chamber and Fastlane. Do they still do Fastlane?
Yeah, Fastlane's coming back, pal.
Fastlane. All right. So, Chamber. I think they might go kind of swervy with the Chamber. Maybe switch the title there. To be honest with you, they may switch the title to the Chamber. It would not surprise me if they switch the title to the Chamber.
Man, Always Talk Wrestling said I should go as a commentator when The Miz is inducted in the Hall of Fame. I should be the guy interviewing Miz. I just go on a rant, cut a promo on him.
Just right there on the stage?
Yeah, it's like, nah, bro, you suck, bro.
Well, I mean, because like, what did you think about are you one of those guys that like this promo that he did on Daniel Bryan and Talking Smack, the infamous promo?
The most overrated promo I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, like honestly, like if you're talking about promo, like I can't even think of another promo that even reaches that sphere of being overrated. Like I can't think of one promo that gets talked about more than that. And like people act like that's the best promo ever. People act like that's like Stone Cold Steve Austin cutting a promo on Vince in 1998. Yeah. It's insane. It was okay. It was the best promo the Miz ever cut, no doubt. But I don't know. It's
the one he's gonna be definitely remembered by. I'll say that's honestly got like that. He'll be remembered by that one promo because I think people hype it up as much because the match wasn't supposed to, like ever gonna happen because Daniel Bryan wasn't gonna be cleared. And then they didn't really capitalize it on it really that much anyways after the fact. But yeah, it is pretty overhyped. I hope Sasha loses the title. I think she is. I think Bianca Belair is just destined to win that title from her at WrestleMania. I don't think there's much of a doubt. I think it'll hurt her if she doesn't win it.
For sure. 100%. Man, I could go off about the Miz all day though. I can go on and on about the Miz, man. Like that dude,
Miz and Randy, yeah.
That dude, bro. Come on. Like I was watching the 2011 Royal Rumble from my podcast with the Elitist on my channel, and I came across this match. I didn't even know it happened. It was the Miz versus Randy Orton for the WWE Championship.
Miz versus Randy Orton, yeah.
You can't. Can you get any worse than that? Like you go from Stone Cold Steve Austin versus The Rock, John Cena versus Batista, John Cena versus CM Punk, and that devolves into The Miz versus Randy Orton for the biggest title, the same title that Bruno Sammartino held, Hulk Hogan, Macho Man, all these all-time greats, and it's The Miz versus Randy Orton. That's
it's because of The Miz. Like CM Punk didn't get a main event spot at the WrestleMania. Even though I'm not much of a CM Punk guy, but like I think he complains like just entirely way too much. But to be honest with you, but yeah, he should have got that spot over The Miz definitely, because like The Miz, especially at that point when he was walking around with what the hell was Curtis what the hell was the guy we was running around with
Alex Riley? Yeah, Alex Riley.
Yeah. So yeah, fuck that. That shit was
Alex Riley laughing, smiling, like the bro. 2011, 2010, such a bad time for wrestling.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Always Talk Wrestling says Miz will be remembered for being an idiot. Jesus. Elite Heat next episode. Why The Miz is the idiots of idiots.
Hey, we already did one. We already did a rant on The Miz. I don't know if you've seen it. It's on my channel. Go check it out.
I think he wants a part 2, bro.
You want a part 2 on The Miz?
Yeah, just another rant on The Miz.
I could do it.
When he says, when I see Batista wrestler, I think that Drax is wrestling. I mean, yeah, I guess. Yeah.
I guess we got to end it there on that one.
Yeah, we got to end it on that one. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Remember to subscribe to my channel if you're not subscribed, and to Bonafide Heat, but you probably already are subscribed to him. So appreciate you guys for tuning in. Appreciate Bonafide Heat for doing this one for me, being on this live stream with me. Much love to you, brother. I hope we can do it again another time. And hopefully you can still be tipsy the next time we do it too as well.
I'm past tipsy. I'm about to go make a review for my channel. I'm about to go scream for like 10 minutes.
Yeah, about
The Miz. Like, that's the problem with this show. If Goldberg had won, I could have screamed about Goldberg winning. Now I'm just like, I love Edge, so I can't even, like, I'm like conflicted,
But there it is. Always Talk Wrestling. I have seen it, but do another. He wants a part 2, man. He might get part 2 tonight on Bonafide Heat's channel when he drops his review for the show. So
thank you for having me out here, bro. I appreciate it.
Of course, he's a good dude.
Great. I'm happy to do this. Maybe next time I'll be sober. Maybe.
I mean, you might as well stay that way.
Oh, God.
Yeah. But thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate it. Remember to like, subscribe, all that good stuff. We'll catch you guys on the next one. And make sure you check out Bonafide Heat's review of the Royal Rumble, because he's going to drop some knowledge as to why The Miz sucks. All right. But peace out, guys.
Oh, my God.